solo dating doesn't mean that you are lonely. You are alone, yes, but that doesn't mean that you're lonely.
That's true.
You can tell yourself that at least you've reached a point where you're really comfortable to be with yourself, because a lot of people can't do that.
Oh, I love that.
Hello, it's Hazel.
Hey, it's Azura.
And I'm Germaine.
And welcome back to another episode of Clarity's Podcast. You know what? We want to say thank you for tuning in to every of our episodes. And the past episode on solo traveling was one that I really enjoyed as well. So in that spirit, today we're going to do another episode on solo.
Okay.
But not solo traveling anymore, on the theme of solo dating.
What is solo dating?
Like
Sorry.
you take yourself out on a date.
Bingo.
How's that a date?
Exactly. So you are on a date with yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like you plan something intentionally
Okay.
as you would for a partner, but it's just you.
Like self-care day.
Oh, so for example, if I go for like my hair appointment, my nail appointment, that's solo dating?
Yeah.
Then you take yourself out to a nice meal.
Oh.
And today I'm actually dressed in how I would dress if I were out for a solo dating.
Oh.
I would take myself hiking. I would want to hit the gym and then go and eat some very good steak.
Interesting. Yeah, so here's the thing about solo dating, right? Things like hair appointment, self-care, nail appointment, I always thought that those were errands to me. They were errands I had to run. So I never saw it as like solo dating.
That's very good insight. I think the usual busy average Singaporean woman would probably think that way.
Yeah.
But now that you've said that, maybe it's time to like change our mindset a bit. Just
That's
enjoy,
true.
soak in the moment.
I think usually as well, it's not like errands that you schedule in between things, but it has to be like intentional.
Correct.
Like, okay, this weekend I'm going to take myself out for brunch and then I'll go do my nails. It's like intentional.
Yeah, you have to remember that solo dating is about treating yourself. It's not just checking off something on your to-do list.
So do you girls do solo dates?
We don't even do dates with people.
Yeah.
I think all the time But last time, I would be very afraid to embark on a solo date. I would be afraid of like what people would say. There was one time in secondary school, this friend told me, haha, you know friend, find friend. And I was so hurt.
So mean.
Yeah, that's very mean, right? I mean, back then we didn't know better lah. But then, now that I've grown up, I actually embrace my me time a lot. So
No, I
much,
understand.
right?
Do you enjoy having a meal by yourself?
Love.
I used to hate it. I thought everyone was judging me for eating by myself.
Okay.
And I would have literal like social anxiety going out to eat by myself. But now I love it. I just ate by myself before this episode. And I had a great time. I was watching Singles Inferno. So engrossed with that show. Had a muffin.
At this age, it almost feels luxurious. You know, like, I have time to spare. I'm going to sit with myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the strength of solo dating, right? You wouldn't go on a date with someone you don't like. Is that correct?
For
Yes.
sure.
So if you're going to date yourself, you have to love yourself. If you don't like yourself, you wouldn't want to spend time alone by yourself.
What if someone is now saying, but I don't like myself?
Okay, you know, a psychologist based in London, her name is Dr. Natalie Bailey. She says that spending quality time alone can be a very valuable tool. And she says solo dating is all about self-love, self-discovery, growth, and empowerment. And it's an invitation, a time to discover more about yourself without the noise and the influence of others. So if you're someone who doesn't like yourself, maybe you can use this chance to find out what you don't like about yourself and work on it.
Yeah.
Agree?
I think solo dating takes a lot of guts as well. So I'm dressed today in a very nice dinner dress
Okay.
because I'm aspiring to take myself out on a nice solo date dinner. Right? Not like a little lunch or cafe,
Yeah.
but a full-on dinner. So this happened and this inspiration came when I was in LA for work. And I was taking my friend out to dinner at like a really nice restaurant in LA. And there was a girl sitting next to us and she was in this red bustier dress with feathers. Gorgeous, gorgeous girl. And then she was alone for the whole meal. So me and my friend were like, oh, I think she came alone, like just to have a nice
Yeah.
meal by herself. And at the end of the meal, a birthday cake came out for her. So on our way out, right, we were waiting for a car and she was there at the drop-off point and we asked her, like, where are you from? Like, you know, what's going on? And she's actually from, I believe, Barbados.
Oh!
She's on holiday in...
Wait, is that where you want to hold your wedding next time?
Yeah.
Where Rihanna came from?
Yeah.
She's on holiday in the US alone.
Okay.
It happened to be her birthday, so she took herself out to dinner and dressed in the nicest. She was stunning.
Oh my God.
Like, I want to be her.
Wait, she
Yeah.
arranged the cake for herself?
Yes.
I love that.
So
I
that's my
love
inspiration.
that.
Yeah.
You know, prior to this episode, I never ever thought about the idea of taking myself out to dinner. Like, okay, maybe like 菜饭, sure, you know, just get it done and like over with, right? But planning a dinner date for myself, you know, going to my favorite steak restaurant, sitting down, having a glass of red wine, it never occurred to me that, hey, I can do that for myself. But this episode actually inspires me to do so. And it's such a good thing to do to yourself, to just treat yourself, right?
I think whether it's solo dating or solo traveling or even just, have you heard of people who cannot or almost cannot be home by themselves? Like they'll pack their schedules.
Oh my
They'll
gosh.
always have to go and see a friend.
Sounds like me,
Oh no.
Sounds like me, Like I go home just to sleep, clock in my 8 hours of rest, and then after that I just want to get out of the house, do things.
For Hazy, it's not that you can't be by yourself. It's just that you like to do things.
Yeah.
You always like to be doing something.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I think in cases like that, sometimes people are afraid of being with themselves because they're afraid of their thoughts.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But I take the time like when, I mean, I don't know if solo dates count if you're just at home. Like if I'm taking a nice bath, I put on a mask,
I think that
I do
counts.
my everything shower. I think that's a solo date.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some examples of solo dates? Here's one story from online that I really, really love, okay, by this girl called Kimberly. She's only 23 and she really embraces solo dating. She loves to indulge in concerts. Like she's the kind of person, she says, I find the most random artist in the middle of the night when I'm listening to Spotify and I become hyper fixated. Like this person is amazing. I must see him or her live. And she started going to gigs, concerts alone. This has allowed her to tap into her interests further and just connect with herself. She's the kind of person, once she's out at a concert, she'll post a story, tell everybody, oh, she's at this concert, she's watching this act. But now she says she doesn't feel the need to share it anymore. She just go out to the concert herself, enjoy it, go home, that's it. So that's her way of like solo dating and indulging in the interest. And I think that's so nice.
So nice.
I've never been to a concert alone. I know a lot of people do.
I have.
How is it?
I have once. So basically, I was still in school, and then John Mayer was playing in London.
Oh.
And there was no way I was giving out on that, but I couldn't get tickets because scalpers are like really wild there, like wild. So eventually, right, it was like 2 weeks before the concert and I still didn't have tickets. And then one day in like the Singaporean group chat, this person I didn't even know, who was from Singapore, basically said like I had gone home to Singapore and I decided to stay a little bit longer. So I am not able to make it. Like, does anyone want my ticket?
For free?
No lah, bye lah. I'm like, oh my God. But there was only one. So I was like, I don't care. I am going to go.
Did you enjoy that?
I did. I was crying I mean, what's new?
Of course you were
But
crying.
maybe it's exactly because you went alone that you could allow yourself to cry like that.
No lah.
That's not true.
Oh.
I went to
Fine.
Coldplay with her, Billie Eilish. Both concerts, she was a puddle of tears. Yeah. But that takes a lot of, I feel like it takes guts.
Right.
I may not be there yet, but I hope to get there one day. On the flip side of it, I think solo dating is still quite I would say not widely or fully accepted. For example, this person on Reddit said, I'm about to turn 27 and I grew up as an only child and I live in a college town. So I have no friends here.
Okay.
So I always take myself out to dinner by myself, do solo dates
that's
and
nice.
stuff. But a few weeks ago, I went to a football game by myself and there was a group of girls next to me. I offered to switch seats with one of the girls so that she can be with her group.
Okay.
Right? Because I was in the middle. And the girl said, oh, you're alone? Like, alone by yourself? And this made her feel very discouraged. She was like,
See, this is where I think the intentions came out wrongly. The girl could have asked that because she was thinking, would you like to join us?
yeah, but maybe it came out the wrong way.
Correct.
I don't
The
think
way
she
you said
meant
it.
anything bad.
Exactly.
I think maybe sometimes it's quite subconscious because it's not as widely known yet, right? You know what I mean? I think sometimes it comes off quite subconscious when you see someone, like for example, the girl that you saw in LA.
Exactly.
It's very easy for someone to have an immediate thought of, oh, did she get stood up? Like, oh, does she not have anyone? That's why she has to eat alone. You know?
That would be the worst if people thought I got stood up because I took myself out to like a really nice restaurant. It's like, oh my gosh, she probably got stood up for a date and show up.
But yeah, people are probably gonna think that if you look hot as, that girl and then you're alone.
Society is still a ways away
Yes,
from
correct.
from that. I love P.D. Marie's story. She said, I love solo dating and I do it all the time. There was once, there was a Beyonce themed clubbing event.
Oh,
And she was supposed to go with her friend, but her friend couldn't make it at the last minute. So I decided to go anyways. I had my outfit, my makeup, everything was ready. I went by myself. It turned out amazing. I enjoyed myself so much. I even made friends with a guy trying to set me up with his girl best friend. LOL. That's so funny. But she says, I think everyone should go on solo dates, whether or not you have a partner.
Oh, on that note,
mm,
actually, if you have a partner, can you still go on a solo date?
of
Yeah,
course.
why not?
Oh,
I think when you have a partner,
interesting.
all the more you should dedicate time to solo dating.
Yes.
Wow.
Like if your boyfriend can go for a game of golf, that's a solo date.
Oh, that's a solo dating session for him, right?
For guys, like, yeah.
Oh.
Do they not play golf in packs?
I don't know, man. I don't know about golf.
Okay, PDN's story. She says she loves going on solo dates and she has days where she just goes out alone, be it to a shop or a self-care day, like a hair and nails kind of day. And she just really loves having some time on her own. And she would highly recommend eating Genki Sushi if you are new to dining alone. This is because it's a very single diner friendly restaurant. And this is one thing I realized about Japanese restaurants.
Correct.
Remember the previous episode we were talking about how PDM, she went to Korea and there were a lot of restaurants that didn't accept single diners.
Really?
Yes.
Right? This is exactly the opposite in Japan.
Correct.
In Japan, they have a lot of like small little seats just for single
Like
diners.
Ichiran ramen. You
Love
go in,
it.
You don't even have to talk to anyone.
Yeah, they
You
just
just
appear
sit
out of
there.
the little curtain and, and then pass you a ramen and then that's it.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I'm kind of inspired actually. I want to go on a solo date.
Yes.
What are some ideas, girls, that we can give
Okay.
whoever's listening?
Maybe if you're not daring enough yet for like a dinner,
Start small.
start small.
Okay.
Cafe in the afternoon, I think that's quite normal to
That's
see
very
people by
normal.
themselves.
Yeah.
Or lunch,
Mm.
you start there first.
Mm. Some of our fellow SG girlies actually recommended plain vanilla, Apollo coffee. Oh my gosh, under the linden. I actually have their coffee with me right
it's
now.
right here.
Yes, it's very near MediaCorp and I would recommend that cafe because most of the time it's not very packed. So if you're looking for that quiet environment, I think that's a good place to go to.
Another idea is obviously to do an activity,
Ah, okay.
right? Like let's say you sign up for a class, like a craft class, or you go shopping or thrifting. Not so advisable for me because whenever I go shopping alone,
End up buying a
I
lot.
end up buying way too many things. I treat it like retail therapy. Like when I'm in a bad mood, right, I just go and shop.
Yes.
Then I end up with too many things.
but
So I wouldn't
if you
do
have
that.
someone with you, does that stop you?
It depends who the person is.
Oh,
If it's us, then no lah.
Yeah,
Like, this is nice,
yeah.
cute, go
If
for
it's
it.
you girls, I will be broke.
Yeah.
But yes, that's an idea. Like going thrifting, maybe finding specialty stores, digging out good finds. I feel like that could be quite a cute
Yeah,
afternoon.
I like what you mentioned about signing up for classes. I think ClassPass is a good way for you to experience a lot of different things alone. But if you're looking for something that's free, hiking is something I would really recommend. Like East Coast Park, West Coast Park, Bukit Timah Railway. These are some places that you can go to absolutely FOC.
And I love that you can almost like ground yourself in nature. Like
Yes.
really touch grass. They say go out and touch grass. Really go and touch the grass. Because it's very healing for you as a person. And even better is if you can go on these walks and not listen to music, but just listen to the sound of nature. Let the thoughts come in your head and let them go. That's so like tranquil.
Yeah. Another very therapeutic place that I used to go very, very often, but not anymore, and is one of my regrets, is the library. I love going to the library. I can sit there for hours just like, combing through a book.
Yeah.
I think hitting the library or the bookstores is a very good way to just spend time with yourself.
yes.
And the book that you pick up definitely, is aligned with your interests as well. So why not? A very good place that I can recommend is the Bras Basah bookstore. They have a lot of very special and unique books. If you don't want to buy books, then just go to the library. It's
Yeah.
free of charge also.
Yeah, the other day I was having lunch with a friend and I was like, oh, it's your birthday. What are you going to do after this lunch? He said, oh, I'm going to go to the library.
Ayo!
Yeah, he literally went there and like read about Singapore history for like 3 hours.
Love.
wow.
On his birthday.
This person happened to be Avery or what? No, okay.
It will never be lah.
It would never be. I don't think Avery can
No,
sit.
you know what? Because, fun fact, I just want to share that Avery has this like e-reader thing
Yes.
called Kobo.
Kubo, yeah.
Kobo.
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 Or like a Kindle?
Yeah, it's like a
Yes.
Kindle, but it's a Singapore version of the Kindle
Oh.
that's actually connected to your National Library board account.
Cool.
So you can
Oh.
borrow books from the NLB and it's connected to the Kobo. And then just take yourself out to a cafe, sit down and read the book.
That's so nice.
Free of charge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one way to make yourself feel comfortable when you're on a solo date is bring like they call it a comfort item.
Okay.
Something that makes you feel safe.
It will be the camera for me.
Okay.
Like every time I feel insecure, maybe I want to just stand up and snap something.
Yeah.
You know?
For me, it's earphones.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
It's my AirPods. Like once I put them in, I'm like, in my own world, doing my own thing.
For some people, it could be the journal.
Mhm.
Just sit down, like pencil down their thoughts.
Oh, maybe yours can be Sudoku.
Sudoku, yeah.
Your wooden one.
Yeah. Wow, that's so
love that.
relaxing.
Oh
I
my
love that.
gosh.
I love that. And I think picking the right environment that speaks to you is also something that's very important. If you are someone who is a lover of nature, then of course, get out to the wild. But if you are like a city girl, then maybe cafes would be a good start for you.
Yeah, and if you can't deal with anything too quiet, then maybe if you need a little bit of buzz,
Yep.
then you pick somewhere a little bit more like busy, maybe.
Yep.
I think the biggest hurdle to get over is caring what people think.
Yeah.
Yeah, for most people, solo dating, solo eating, solo traveling, whatever it is, right? You always worry about like, oh, will people judge me if I do this alone? And the fact of the matter is, you're not going to convince yourself that people don't judge you, right? But you can convince yourself that you don't care.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Agree.
Don't try to change people, you change yourself. Yeah.
And what can you do to achieve that? I think having a plan is very important. Tell yourself, okay, 8 a.m. you want to be here. By 12 p.m. you want to be there. And by 3 p.m. here and then go home. So if you have a plan, it distracts you from what like other people think. You just go with your own flow and you call the shots.
Yeah.
Then maybe you don't
that.
feel lost as well. If like,
Yeah.
you're done with something, then you don't really know what to do. Maybe at that point you can feel like a little bit lost. So with a plan, I think that helps.
Yeah. And I think the most important thing, like what Jimmy mentioned, is shifting your mindset. Just tell yourself that solo dating doesn't mean that you are lonely. You are alone, yes, but that doesn't mean that you're lonely.
That's true.
You can tell yourself that at least you've reached a point where you're really comfortable to be with yourself, because a lot of people can't do that.
Oh, I love that. We hope you take yourself out on a solo date.
But apart from solo dating girls, what are some other self-care tips that you guys think can appeal to our listeners?
Ooh, self-care tips.
I think, right, for me, the biggest self-care tip that works for me and makes me happy is my skincare routine. It's something that's very small, doesn't take up too much time, but it's something that I do on a very regular basis. I like to apply a mask every 2 nights and then make sure my routine is in place before I go to sleep. Like that's like a little thing that grounds me.
Yeah. There are a few things that scientifically proven you need to achieve happiness. Number 1 is enough sleep. Number 2 is enough water. Number 3 is to eat well, right? Don't just eat junk food. Number 4 is daily exercise. So it can just be a walk. It doesn't have to be like you hit the gym or, you go for a run, but just a walk, right? Number 5 is actually daily sunlight. So getting sunlight in your eyes before 10 a.m. is very, very helpful for your circadian rhythm and helps you sleep better at night.
Wow.
Yeah. You get at least 10 minutes. If it's overcast, try to stay for at least 20 minutes. Obviously, don't look at the sun directly, but yes. The last thing, the number 6 thing, is actually social connection. And this doesn't mean like replying to people in the DMs. This means actually meeting someone. Yeah. So even though we're talking about solo stuff, like, a lot of stuff is solo, but you do still need social connection. For the introverts out there, I'm talking to you. Those 6 things will guarantee you happiness in your life.
Wow.
There's a whole IG like snippet on its own,
It's true. It's
so
true.
helpful. Yeah, last night I slept for 8 hours and today I feel different. Like,
Great.
completely different.
Yeah.
What's your self-care routine?
Mine is not so much self-care, but if you're going to be by yourself and you're comfortable being by yourself, I think don't afraid to say no. Because, okay, so I'll give you an example, right? Recently, I had some time to myself while waiting for a friend. So I was sitting there happily by myself and I really just wanted to be alone. I was having a drink and then there was this table next to me and they were like, oh, come and join us. And I was like, actually, no, actually I want to be by myself.
But is it because they recognize who you were? Like they knew like, okay, you're Azura, you're a radio DJ, you want to come
I don't
join
know,
us?
actually.
Ah.
But if you feel like you want to, have some social interactions, go
Okay.
ahead. But if you feel like I've blocked this time out for myself and I really just want to be alone, then be alone.
Yeah. That's fair. I love that. So we've got a little quote to end off today's episode.
Okay.
Someone on Reddit said, "To me, solo dating is just living. Yes, I go to cafes, dinners, museums, galleries, walks along the waterfront by myself, but you don't need other people to exist in public. You are not a NPC, non-playing character. But also, I'm in a relationship, and it still doesn't change what I'm capable of doing by myself. At the end of the day, your world should not be dictated by someone else. Live it on your own terms."
I love that. We hope that gives you some strength if you are thinking of taking yourself out solo dating for the first time ever. All the best with that. Let us know how it goes on Instagram at isclarity.co. Drop us a DM anytime.
That's right. You can listen to us on Spotify, Me Listen, Apple Podcasts. If you're out alone and you start to get a little bit lonely, you listen to us.
Or you can watch us on YouTube as well if you want to see familiar faces. We're there, also Clarity Co. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next episode.
See you.
Happy solo dating. Bye. I've started buying those heated eye masks.
Hey, don't you love those?
Yeah.
I love those.
With the smell.
The chamomile one.
The chamomile
The chamomile
one.
ones. Wow.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
And I literally knock out at night. Because my eyes are so strained from looking at screens all day.
Right.
So the heat really just relaxes my eyeball and before I
Very
know
good.
it.